The government has once again released a statement of condolence, days before the centennial commemorations of the 1915 mass killings and deportations of Armenians under the Ottoman rule, repeating last year's message, the first in the Republic's history, but the message has been described by the Armenian diaspora as a fake apology. Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu's message, issued only 3 days before the commemorations on April 24 in Armenia and around the world, was widely seen as a crude attempt to distract attention. The Armenian National Committee of America, ANCA, made a statement immediately after Davutoğlu's message of condolence, calling his statement a fake apology. On April 23 of last year, in a surprising move, then Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdoğan issued a conciliatory statement to the descendants of the Armenians killed and displaced by the Ottomans, a first in the Turkish Republic's history, causing many to question the government's motives. This failed attempt was also seen, around the world, as an effort to avoid the recognition of the events of 1915 as genocide, as Turkey refutes the use of this label. In an attempt to deflect attention away from the centennial commemorations in Armenia, events that will be attended by a number of world leaders this year, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, Turkey has moved its celebrations of the Gallipoli campaign during World War I to April 24 to 25, and has also invited many prominent heads of state. Turkey traditionally commemorates the Gallipoli campaign, also known as the Battle of Çanakkale, on March 18. Davutoğlu's statement came after Pope Francis' recent remarks, acknowledging the 1915 events to be the first genocide of the 20th century, during a mass on Sunday with the attendance of Armenian President Serj Sargsyan. The Pope's words, prompting a wave of anger among Turkish politicians, were followed by the European Parliament, EP, adopting a resolution that also acknowledges the events as genocide. President Erdoğan threatened to deport about 100,000 Armenians who live and work Turkey illegally, but who have access to public services. Davutoğlu said in his statement that Turkey shares the pain of Armenians, and also announced that a service would be held at the Armenian Patriarchate in Istanbul to honor the victims. The Prime Minister also criticized the international pressure on Turkey to acknowledge the 1915 events as genocide, claiming that, to reduce everything to a single word, to load all of the responsibility on the Turkish nation, and to combine this with a discourse of hatred is legally and morally problematic. We once again respectfully remember Ottoman Armenians who lost their lives during the deportation of 1915 and share the pain of their children and grandchildren, Davutoğlu reiterated. Because this is the centennial anniversary of the events, the Armenian government and diaspora have been working for a greater recognition of the 1915 events as genocide. After the Pope's acknowledgement and the EP's resolution urging the EU to recognize the events as genocide, Turkey is worried that US President Barack Obama may also acknowledge the mass killings as genocide during his traditional April 24 statement. Since he came to office, Obama has avoided using the label, despite having promised the Armenian community in the US that he'd recognize the events as genocide during his term. The Turkish Minister for EU Affairs, Volkan Bozkır, speculated on Tuesday that Obama would not use the word to describe the massacre of Armenians in the Ottoman Empire. Speaking to press, Bozkır said, "I'm guessing that US President Barack Obama will not use the word genocide. Obama prefers to use the phrase Medzyeghern, the great calamity in the Armenian language, and has steered away from using the word genocide to avoid harming important relations with Turkey." ANCA has also called on Obama to formally recognize the mass killings as genocide. Prime Minister Davutoğlu's fake apology today grants no recognition, accepts no responsibility, expresses no regret and offers no reparations, ANCA President Aram Hamparian said. President Obama has a historic opportunity to reject Turkey's gag rule, ending a shameful chapter of US complicity in Ankara's denial and moving Turkey, Armenia, and the region toward a better future based upon a truthful and just resolution of this crime, he added. In the meantime, head of the Religious Affairs Directorate Mehmet Görmez on Monday lashed out at the Pope due to his acknowledgement of genocide and described Pope Francis's move as immoral. Görmez added that the Vatican should look to its own history before hurling accusations. Following the Pope's remarks, Turkey summoned the Vatican envoy to Turkey and recalled its ambassador to the Holy See back to Turkey. The Vatican will come out as the biggest loser if we are all giving account for past sufferings and pain caused, Gourmet told Reuters. Is the current situation of millions of Syrian refugees much less cause for concern to the Vatican than what happened during the Armenian deportation? He said, referring to refugees from Syria's civil war being sheltered in Turkey. He said, I find the Pope's statement immoral, and can't reconcile it with basic Christian values. Following the Pope's remarks and the EP's decision to acknowledge the genocide, German Foreign Minister Frank-Walter Steinmeier has stated that acknowledging the 1915 events as genocide is understandable, signaling that the German government's support of a parliamentary motion to designate the events as genocide on Friday. One could want to summarize what happened then with the term genocide, and I can well understand the reasons and certainly the feelings for that, Steinmeier told the Süddeutsche Zeitung newspaper in its Monday edition. Critics say Steinmeier has changed his recent position on the characterization of the Armenian massacre dating back 100 years ago and that his statement will strengthen the hand of German lawmakers who are preparing to discuss on Friday a parliamentary resolution to label the slaughter of Ottoman Armenians in 1915 as genocide, as Armenians around the world refer to the mass killings. Germany's government has so far managed to avoid calling the 1915 events genocide. Deputy Prime Minister and the government spokesman Bülent Arın said on Monday that Turkey has never committed genocide knowingly, willingly, intentionally. Speaking to press after a cabinet meeting, Arın said Turkey has never betrayed to its own people and stressed that the 1915 events cannot be described as genocide. Following the EP's decision, Prime Minister Davutoğlu claimed that the EP's move is far from contributing to reconciliation between Turkey and Armenia but rather is a move to fuel anti-Islamic, anti-Turkish tendencies and a reflection of racism in Europe. If Europe wants to contribute to peace and maintain the multicultural, multi-religious status of Europe, it should refrain from making decisions that will provoke hatred against a certain religion or nation based on history. This is also a move to fuel the rising trends of anti-Islamic, anti-Turkish tendencies. This is more than Turkish-Armenian relations. This is a reflection of the racism of Europe, he said. Stressing that he is against singling out the 1915 events, Davutoğlu also said, where are those Aboriginal people? Where are the Native Americans? Where are the tribes of Africa? How were they wiped out from history? We cannot let anyone pressure Turkey politically. As part of growing criticism in Turkey, 3 political parties represented in parliament, including the ruling Justice and Development Party, ANCA party, have said in a joint declaration that the EP's genocide resolution is unacceptable. The ANCA party, the main opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, and the opposition Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, signed the declaration on Thursday, which characterized the resolution as inappropriate and unacceptable. In the meantime, Derda and Project 2015, Istanbul-based platforms supporting the acknowledgement of genocide held a press conference on Tuesday and called Turkey to end its denial policy. We have come together with Armenians from around the globe with a single, unified message to the Turkish government: recognize the genocide, so we can move forward on a project of reconciliation, said Levent Sensever from Derda. Whatever the position of our government, we want the world to know that many citizens of Turkey recognize the truth about the terrible crime against Armenians, and to pay our respects to the victims and the survivors, he added.